what's up? This is Gordon Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man, Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy, Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
All right. It is the last day of the week for us. It's your boy, Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. Let me start out by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. Having said all of that, welcome to the show. We appreciate you guys coming through. We got a great guest on today. I was looking at LinkedIn, and y'all know how much I love to take pictures and do little videos and this and that. And I saw this guy, and he said the most simplest thing that kind of changed everything that I wanted to do, that I was doing. And I loved it. His name is Derek Hines. He's a CEO and founder of Stories to Savor Network. And he's more than a videographer. He's trying to create a position for businesses to look good, small and local businesses, by creating authentic videos, content, and enhancing their social media presence. Come on, man. We gotta get this going. All right. Let me say hello to Johnny Come Lately.
Who is that? Because I look like I'm on time.
No, the show had out, the credits had already ran and everything, and then all of a sudden, it's Jeter.
Nobody knew that, but behind the scenes,
I tell everything. I can't hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, what's up, girl?
What's up?
I'm chilling. And if don't nobody else come on, I already know I got my man Mo here, right?
What's up?
Whatever.
Yes, sir. I already know, man. But look, you know what? Man, look. Y'all know how I love to take pictures. Y'all know how I love to just take my camera and just snap. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we do.
But I've been doing it kind of wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
What are you doing wrong, Greg?
I really don't do anything wrong, Marcella.
Okay.
I was looking on LinkedIn, and I saw this brother, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit back and look, because I know I'm taking some great pictures. People buy my pictures, but
what do you say?
It was like he was talking to me. It's like, Greg, cut that shit out. You're doing it right, all right? And I just said, cool. You know what? I'm gonna listen, and I listened, and it was cool. We're gonna, let's bring him on. Everybody say hello to Mr. Derek Hines.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Nice to have you.
Man. Nice to see you again.
D?
All is well. I was Mo B. I love the stone in the back, man. Stone and brick is my favorite, man.
Come on, but we all can have that same house. We all can have the same house.
Come on, get in the room with me. Come on.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll be at the next family reunion, right?
All right. So he is the creator of Stories to Savor Network, and their motto is capturing small and local businesses by creating authentic video content and enhancing your social media presence. Tell us about that Yeah, if you all haven't gone, I'm gonna put his link up here too. If you all haven't seen his page, go to his page. All right. Tell us about that though, Derek.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again. I got, I like giving folks nicknames. So I mean, thank you, G too. I appreciate that. Glad you were able to make it through running through the airport, man. No cramps, so that's a good thing. Yes, indeed. But yeah, I enjoy. I call it the game of media. I enjoy the game of media. I've been in it since 1995, and the start of Stories to Savor. It came when one day I was working for my boss, Miss Oprah Winfrey, and so I was working for her, and we can't take anything from Harpo per se.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to keep it in the memory bank and then figure out like what to do with it if we remember it. But I remember working on Super Soul Sunday and The Island Fix My Life, which were two amazing shows. And I go, I know we're coming to the finish line. Like what is this going to look like? Do I go to California? Do I stay here in Chicago? Like what do I do? And so I loved her shows, and I loved her heartfelt shows, and so I was told by a mentor to do a media kit.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, media kit. Okay, that's representation of your business. Okay, we will do that. And so I started that after I left Harpo in 2015 and 2016. I started the construction, and man, it was messy. Because I knew how to shoot, I knew how to edit, but running a business,
that's 80% of the game.
Man, what like a head scratcher, because for the longest, you work for yourself or you do freelance. So,
right.
But I started the business. I didn't really have a name for it. The name that I did want was Savoring the Moment. But when what you do as business owners, what I encourage all business owners to do before they even go on the internet is really make sure that they have their title ready and locked and loaded, especially if you're going to create a website. Because the minute you put the name of your company in, if you don't execute and grab the domain name, there are people out there that do this for a living will take your account, or they'll just
they'll register your domain.
They'll register your domain. Yeah. So I wanted Savoring the Moment, but so I went on GoDaddy and I typed in Savoring the Moment. I was like, like it was between like $1,600 to $2,000. I was like, we're gonna find where the dollar menu is.
Right.
And on top of that, like the S that's on my hat, I tried to look at things as a mistake, but it was almost like wow, because the computer I had at the time, you can like take the mouse, and if you're working on like Photoshop or whatnot, and you're drawing, and my mouse got stuck, and so I just, and then I go,
hey, it looked like a new logo to me.
That's right. Moment.
So I was like, I have to keep the S somehow. I have to keep the S, and so that's kind of like how the logo and everything came about. But then I eventually started to come up with Stories to Savor, and because I like food, but because I also understand that everybody's mind creates a story, everybody's brain has something painting in there, and I wanted to do something for small and local businesses because I've been in the big box industry, and I know how hard it is to reach like your Oprahs and your Ellens and your Phils and your Steve Harveys. And so I said, here's where I can target. I can target small and local businesses, whether they own a restaurant or whether they own like a private practice, or they're an author or inspirational speaker. This is what I want to do. And so, Stories to Savor came up, and then because I was teaching in film and TV, I was able to have my students come on and do an internship and put them in a professional environment where they can learn how to do DP, and where they can be camera ops, where they could do lighting and editing and assistant producers and the production assistant. They can learn all the stuff that I learned along the way. But me being how I am, I'm going to help you hand over hand. So in short, that's how Stories to Savor came to be in 2017 after leaving California and was like, no, we're not staying out here.
Right. And you saw a need. You definitely saw a need to kind of enhance it. Then we talked a little bit before this.
Yeah.
Mo, you had real quick. Mo had a question.
Yeah, I heard you, Mo.
So, hey, are you still connected to the Harpo family?
So, I mean, I have a few people that I still stay in touch with. Some folks are at Fox and WGN, and I know some were for working with the Steve Harvey show. But I keep in touch with a few.
But like I was saying though, you saw a need. I mean, because you can't with the professionalism that you have, you can't sit back and look at all of this content that's coming out here for these businesses and just say, man, I can't let them go out like that. I mean, what made you really want to come in and say, I need to create a platform for these people so that they can get it right? I'm not going to make them feel bad, but so they can get it right.
Absolutely. I appreciate the question. So when I was working at Harpo and even working with various like other celebs, there was like such a huge price point, right? And that price point stemmed between like 50K to 100, all the way up to like 5 million. And so, and so one of the examples I would give to my students was, this was back in the day where like maybe like 3, 4, or 5 years ago, where I was like, hey, how much do you think a 30-second video costs?
Right.
And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe 50,000, 20,000. I was like, for the Super Bowl, it's 500,000.
Exactly.
And now the Super Bowl, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's somewhere between that 1.5 to $2 million just for a 30-second video.
Yep.
And so I go, like, what would make sense? And so I said, well, I have the knowledge, and I believe I have the skill, and I understand my value and worth. But I also, one thing I love is, 50+% of the world is made up of small and local businesses. Exactly. So how can they expand on what they do? And so I started off by creating shows. So Dinner, Brunch, and Dessert, Reflections from Inside. Those are a couple shows that we did when I was working with my students. But I said, what does it look like to create videos that were in a price point with the hope of small business being able to afford it? And so, and the thing about small businesses is that a lot of times they say they don't have enough money to be able to fund it. But then I have to flip it back and say, if you go to a restaurant, you're willing to pay for that restaurant.
Come on.
Right? You're willing to buy those Jordans. You're willing to buy the car or whatnot. So if you are serious about your small business, why aren't you pouring into it, especially if you're going to do it full time? So
why don't they do that though, Derek? They a lot of people, and say you come to them as a professional, you come to these people, or they come to you, I should say, and once you give them your fee, your price, oh man, I can't. Hey, look, what's that? You just was talking about it.
Yeah.
Why don't people want to invest in themselves properly?
So here's the deal with small and local businesses. I still go through that gambit of saying, hey, like, what's important, right? But we live in a society of the 8 to 4, 9 to 5, right? And so, and taking that leap of faith, because you can't see what's going to happen in the end, but taking that leap of faith sometimes brings a lot of fear to small businesses. But again, we still have to turn it around and say, why are you in it? What value do you believe that you can bring to whatever category you're in? Exactly. And if you believe that value, if you believe your worth, then you're going to have to invest. I mean, if you think about, if you work for somebody, you still have to invest gas into the tank, right? You still have to invest your time in waking up. You still have to invest your voice and speaking about a product or talking to people. So you're making those small investments anyway for somebody else's business. So when you start your own business, why not say, hey, I might have to spend $1,500, or I might have to spend $500, or maybe there's an opportunity for me to do some type of bartering that's going to really benefit somebody who's going to put in.
Exactly. And I, for the life of me, I cannot understand why people don't do that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they can have a conversation with you or anybody that's doing what you're doing and say, well, hey, look, I'm trying to do, you know, if they explain the situation, I'm trying to do this.
Sure.
How can you help me? Okay. And this is what I have to work. This is my budget. What can you do for me in this budget? And maybe they don't, if you don't ask, you know, closed mouth never. You had a statement.
Yeah, I actually liked his answer a whole lot. Hi, Derek.
How are
But
you
you know
doing?
what? It's also part of the instant gratification too, right? When we go to the restaurant or whatever, we're satisfied in the moment. We fulfilled in the moment versus making that investment with him. You've got to wait for the moment of satisfaction to come later. So we don't like that delayed, that delayed factor. But the reality, but the reality is if you lay the layers, those stepping stones, the delayed factor when it comes lasts longer than that immediate satisfaction that you get.
Poetry snaps. How about I do some poetry snaps?
Yesterday, man.
We had that yesterday.
Should have been there yesterday. You could have snapped your little fingers off. Okay? That is the go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Derek.
No, I was just going to say, the delayed factor. You bring up a great point, Lisa, and I have to kind of even semi piggyback that, but everything we do is a delayed factor. Even if we have kids, like they want something right away, but then we also have to flip it around to them and say, hey, today you're walking, but a couple of years ago you weren't walking. Like how do we build that patience? Even when you're eating food, they as soon as you sit down, you're not going to get it, but you're going to get something. You're going to get like that greeting. You're going to get the plate. You're going to get the utensils. And so it's the layers, right? But we have to make sure that we keep telling folks like these layers benefit the end game.
Absolutely. Oh, you had another question?
Yeah. So have you ever thought about making this business grow like 100-fold by doing contracted, contracted subscriptions? So, your people are basically primed for those commercial seasons and stuff, and you're making commercials and stuff continuously. And, also they're paying. So there's money always coming in. So you got a subscription contract. There's money always coming in. You just got to put the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question, Moby. So so there's the ultimate goal for Stories to Savor. The ultimate goal for Stories to Savor is to be able to create a school, right? And so, and then there's two companies that I really do follow, Disney and Discover.
Yeah.
Okay. Discovery. Sorry. And
same company now.
Well, yeah, right. And so but underneath like Discovery and underneath like Disney, you have other things that fall under their wheelhouse. Yeah. And so like the subscription portion that you talked about, that is one thing that I do want to do with Stories to Savor, because I want to be able to have your small and local artists or your small and upcoming producers and directors who might not be able to go to NAB or may not be able to go to the Black Film Festivals to showcase their short films on Stories to Savor's network. And then the production side of Stories to Savor will then move to a different company. And then now I have two separate companies, and then
two tiers.
Yeah, two tiers, and then the Academy will also be like the feeder program for what Stories to Savor is all about. So it's in the works. And it's five and some change years of me starting this business, and the huge part of the beginning was a struggle, and it's just like peaked during the pandemic where I was able to teach online and be able to get like some clients such as DuSable Museum, and then a new company called Khaki Colored Kids.
Yeah, and business
Khaki colored kids. I like that. That's cool.
That
is cute.
I kind of leave you and Marcella out.
Whatever.
You know, we
khaki.
We appreciate the khaki name, okay? But we gotta leave y'all light skinned folk out. But there are a lot of people, man. They come to you and they'll say, "Well, this is how I want it. I don't want to change it up. This is how I want it. It's got to be like this." Do they understand that, you know, when they come to a person like yourself, that you're gonna put your creative spin on it? Okay, how many times have you gotten pushed back for that?
Yeah, I have gotten pushed. I have gotten some pushback because when I talk to clients about what they want, and then so you have to give them a comparison, right? So this is what's going to look like, and this is the audience that you're going to get. And where you are right now within your business could possibly be the same place you're going to be when we're done. However, just like with everything has had an evolution factor to it, I like to share with them like, hey, we can put together your promo and it just has like certain cuts and maybe a dissolve or two. But what does it look like for your business to grow and for people to go, wow? So I'll give you an example. Working with DuSable, a gentleman who works into bringing in different people to kind of tour the DuSable Museum. They had the Curtis Mayfield tribute, and I was the videographer and editor for that. And he just said, you know what, I just want, and Todd Mayfield was the main attraction. He said, I just want like you to feature a little bit of Curtis Mayfield, some of his old footage, and then just do just some regular cuts. And so for me, I also have to look at it too, representation, right? I mean, I could put something basic together, but that's not really representing the stories of Savor. And if you want something basic, or if you want something that might just be okay, you got Fiverr, right? You know, you got these other companies. And so but I said, you know what? Hey, so I ended up putting together this compilation video with graphics and bells and whistles. This seems like, it's like, whoa, I didn't know you were going to do all of this. I said, well, what do you think?
They let it go out like that.
Yeah. So, and that makes me feel good, because at the end of the day, I want your business, I want your company to shine, but I also want you to understand is that like you get in what you put out. And if you're going to put out some great content, more people are going to come into your restaurant. They're going to come into your establishment and go, I love what you're doing.
Exactly. You know, sometimes the brand got to talk as opposed to you talking, you know, and what you're doing is allowing the brand to talk. Marcella, you had a question?
Actually, you guys both just kind of answered, because my question was going to be, what do you feel is more important, marketing, engagement, or impressions? And it sounds like you're saying impressions.
Well,
or no?
Wow, that's a great.
I know,
right? Hey, you got me pausing like a comma in a sentence now. Okay. So marketing and impressions. Well, in order for you to impress someone, you have to market yourself, right?
Okay.
So if you go out on a date and you want someone to be impressed by you, prior to that, you might take a shower, throw on some deodorant, put on your perfume or your cologne, and
hopefully,
hopefully, right? Make sure those bubbles in the soap are where it's supposed to be. And you go out, you may clean your car, and then you go out, and then there you go, and then your market is you.
Right.
Right. Your market is you. Like you are the billboard in some cases, everywhere you go. So they almost go hand in hand, and people will be impressed by what you're marketing.
Okay.
So,
Okay. That's a good
heart and brain. If we did like that ratio, marketing and impressions, heart and brain.
Okay. Okay.
Both are needed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Sometimes there's a lot in one of them, and
that is not. Okay. Gina, what you got?
So Derek, I know you give out some tips. I love it. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna be following you so I can get some of those tips. They're very good. You did state one of your tips stated that you are the brand, and to add faces to your photographs to make your business more relatable. Why is that important?
So and thank you for asking that question, Ms. Gina. So, when the internet first started, it was more so we were in like a community where people would read a lot more, and now we are in a huge transition, especially when the pandemic jumped into places that we like to see things, and so
everything is kind of antiseptic.
Yeah, and here's the deal. So when I was teaching it, I taught at Oak Park River Forest High School in film and TV, and so I took my class to Google so that they can kind of get another awareness of like what they're clicking on all the time.
Right.
And so one of the things that a young lady said at Google was that the attention span is 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And now it's if you look at some of the ads that are put on like YouTube, they're 4 seconds, right? Because YouTube has figured out like how often
you try to skip that bad boy if you want to. They can put 10 in the month, one behind the other.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So being in a presence when you have your business, I want to see you. Because I mean, we may not be friends, and I might not live down the street, but I still want to be able to see you, hear your voice, and just get accustomed at least to a prequel of what the business is all about. Because at the end of the day, we stick to things because we fall in love with them or we like them, so to speak. And with people, you can find some genuineness out of people based off even some of the raw content that they put out. And for your business and your brand, Ms. Gina, like to hear a personality, to hear a character, you can sell someone that quickly versus whatever your brand is all about, because they know who you are, and they go, you know what, Ms. Gina is an author. I want to, because I love what she's doing and hearing her voice. I want to give a crack at one of the books that she's written.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
That makes a lot of sense.
Hey man, I was looking at, well, before I say anything else, Mo, you had another question?
Well, I think Lisa had a statement first.
Okay, I'm running this, but
okay.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Okay.
Mo, I think
not the finger,
go
Lisa.
ahead, Mo. Keep it moving.
Put my church fingers.
No, I was just going to ask that.
That's
You had a chance. I know you are. I know you are.
I'm not.
Have you had a chance to do a stop it? You
Derek, I told you
before for the next 45 minutes. Stop.
Hey, it's all right. Hey, y'all got me laughing. I'm getting a little warm.
I was going to ask if you had a chance to, other than what you did with Harpo, do anything independent, edit in any of the independent movies, larger movies.
Sure. So on a larger scale of what I have done, I did get a chance to work behind the scenes for America to Me, which was a documentary based off of bridging the gap between like Oak Park River Forest High School. Right. That was directed by Steve James, who also was the director of Hoop Dreams. I've had the pleasure to do some edits with I'll think of her name in a minute because she had to do some stuff at Harpo Harpo Studio, but working with Steve Harvey, flying out to Jamaica for the Spring Fest, where I got a chance to film Steve Harvey and Marcus Houston.
Wow.
Diving back some years where I was able to follow Ruben Studdard around after he won the American Idol.
Yeah,
And,
he around here somewhere now.
I know, right? Yeah, pretty crazy. And filmed the Luther Vandross Dance with My Father CD release party. Yeah. So between like, you know, doing some of those bits and but the one thing I enjoy is just working with folks that I know that they could get to that level, or they just actually have a message to tell. Like, I'll give you an example. We made, you know, from the city of Chicago. Let me ask you guys, like, what's a soul food or southern restaurant that you all know much of?
Lisa?
I don't.
You don't. Okay. Or how about this? Let me ask you, what would be a restaurant that's very known in like the Southern hospitality or wherever in the States?
Well, in the South here, it's called the Pig.
The Pig. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything pig.
Swine.
That's swine, my sister. Swine.
I love it.
It is smoking swine is jumping up out there and it's killing all of us, but the place is packed.
It's good. As long as it tastes good, that's what
That's
good.
Right. That and white beans and everything.
Let this man finish his thought.
Well, shoot, man, I need to finish my taste buds too, man.
Right?
White beans, great northern beans, I'll take them. But so, like, one of the restaurants here is Luella Southern Kitchen. So he took a piece of the South and brought it to the north, to the north side of Chicago, in Lincoln. And so, whenever you all get a chance, you can check out Dinner, Brunch, and Dessert and see one of the episodes that we did on Luella Southern Kitchen. And he's still a great friend of mine today. But I've taken like what I've worked with other people who have been kind of like that upper echelon, whether it's like Oprah or if it's Iyanla or doing some filming for Mary J. Blige. Like, I take all that, but I still also have to be humble too. Right. And to know, like, hey, I love my small businesses.
And you helping them too. I mean, I was looking at on your website and I saw this house that you were doing. And, you know, and man, the house looks good. I mean, the way that you did it was nice. Okay, I tried it before too, and I just went in there with some house shoes and just.
Yeah.
And you get this, man. Look, let me do this. All right, you know, but you know, things of that nature, things like that, things are like you said, people that really need your service. Mm-hmm. They can reach out and get you, as opposed, regardless of what you've done and how grand it was. They can touch you. They can reach out and say, "Hey, can you do this for me?" But again, people, you have to understand it is a business. Yes. He has a fee that needs to be paid, and there is no haggle room. You know, most of the time, this is what this man does to sustain a living. So, you know,
in the budget.
The brother in them budget ain't happening, man. It's not that anymore. Lisa, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, but my comment would have fit better a long time ago, Greg.
You talking about when Maurice was kicking it to you?
No.
We can't do one to Marcelo.
Don't bring me in that conversation.
Kick it on to me.
The comment was more about we had mentioned people seeing things versus text. Mm-hmm. And so that has always transcended time. If you go back to the original fight, if you will, between Apple and PC or Gates and Jobs, it was because Jobs understood from the beginning that people think in pictures. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so the reason that Apple caught on and just took fire is because it was pictures. And remember when PC first came, it was just all text.
Right.
And then the big fight was because then PC decided to go back and start to put some of those pictures in. But Jobs said, well, this is proprietary now. But the point is that we've always thought that way. And those eyes are always the window that's transcended everything. When we see it, we want to eat it. When we see it, we want to do it. When we see it, we want to interact. We don't care about necessarily the audible sometimes either, unless we've seen it, so that the audible then triggers the memory of the visual.
Yeah.
So that, Greg.
Yeah. Well, and here's the deal, like because the evolution of, back in the day, in like the 20s and the 30s and whatnot, in the 40s, everyone would gather around, right, to listen to things. Or if we move the decades up, even like if you had the Howdy Doody shows and all the things that we really couldn't always see, we had to sit and listen and then paint it in our head, which, by the way, brings up a point of one of the ways of how I learn, where you can talk to me and I paint the picture, but I also have to see it. So I have to see it, because that's the way I learn. And if you want to get more out of me, then let's find a way to storyboard it out, right? Building the blueprint. And let's think about it this way.
Yeah, we only remember 7% of what we hear.
Sure. Yeah. And so I think it's because people like to see a lot more. Because there's something going around where now Instagram is really, like, you don't need hashtags anymore per se. But Instagram is really just diving into more videos now, because they see what TikTok and all the other stuff is going on. So, which I don't have a TikTok account because it's very dangerous. But yeah.
That's funny. Is there anything, or has there ever been a moment where someone has come to you and you said, well, and they've given you their idea of what they want, and you said, well, I can't do that.
Yeah, so I do. Like, what's crazy is that before I got on this call, I had a lead call today where this person was saying that they really weren't in the position to move forward with any type of compensation, and I had to ask this person. I go, well, and sometimes, and I have to learn this too, not necessarily being blunt with it, but just letting folks know, like, hey, this is your business. Like, how serious are you with your business? Or is it a hobby? Or is it something that you really want to invest in? And the person would think, well, I just want to be consulted, and I want to be able to just talk with people. And I go, well, okay, we can do that too. However, there is a compensation behind it, because at the end of the day, and I give away freebies, a lot too. But at the end of the day, if I consult all the time with you, then now I'm taking away from my bread and butters of what I'm doing. And we're living in an age right now where egg is like $9, $12, and I only got like 8 fingers and 2 thumbs, where you can only dip it into so many sauces, so I mean, it's tough unless there's something of equal value, right?
Right.
Like I was going back to saying, that bartering system, but yeah. So, but to continue answering Greg, like it is tough. However, we have to go back to, like, how bad do you want your business to be successful? Right?
Do you value yourself?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. And for the eggs, man, I went over my brother's house yesterday. Hey, bro, I got about 8 of them in my pocket. I took them out. I'm sorry.
They're already warm. Look, just drop it in some medium water. You get the whole egg quick.
Ew.
But one of them hatched. I don't know
what. One of them hatched, so you can have more eggs.
I don't know where that egg from. One of them hatched. You got a question?
I do. You just talked about the evolution of different things, like how back in the day we would listen and that's all we had was audio. So my question to you is, what do you do to keep up to date on the different trends and the technology and all to keep what you do fresh?
Miss Marcella, thank you. You know, right before you did that, I was going to grab some of these notes that I take. So I go on, and I have a really good mentor, Jonathan Young. He's awesome. He's one of the reasons why I do a lot of media. My other mentor is Beverly Price. She's my godmother. Without her, I don't know if I'd be at Harpo, or I don't even know if I would have been able to integrate one of the #1 post houses in Chicago as the first Black as an intern in Chicago. So like the one thing like Jonathan always talks to me about is tutorials. Like get educated on that stuff, because there's only so much you can do on in school, and maybe in the value of maybe talking to someone in passing is rich. However, like if you're able to be at home and you have a moment, you know, this is part of your investment. And so like I've got like ask the right questions that I write down. You know, you may not be able to see it per se, but like and so I you know, follow various folks on online, or one thing that helps is I'm subscribed to B&H. If you guys have ever been on B&H where you get equipment, that, believe it or not, always helps the education part, because while they pop up different sales, they also pop up like what's new. And so those are some of the intangibles that kind of help me stay up to date on what's going on too.
Okay.
Yeah. So and again, as I was looking at, we're talking with Mr. Derek Hines. He's the CEO, the founder, the man. Okay. At Stories to Savor Network. Derek, I was looking at your page again, the website. You've taken simple moments. It's like a birthday party or a retirement party. You made them movies, basically. Okay. How great does that make you feel for the simple, not just the grandiose thing, but the simple things, and the look on people's faces once you get that product to them?
Yeah. Keep it simple, silly is a motto. The kiss method. It brings great joy. Growing up, I've never been a person to just like want. I've always been a giver, and sometimes it's a gift and a curse, because you do give so much, but there are so many people that take and just take just because. But being able to see the faces and the reaction of folks once you give them that product means a whole lot more than what like, I mean, of course, you know, the compensation is great, but I mean, to know that, hey, that not only that I've established trust and that we've built up this hospitality feeling, but I have been able to deliver something to you that you're able to use for a lifetime, and you allowed me to tell your story, and that story you can show anywhere, and you can leave it and make it a legacy for whatever it is you want to do, your family or friends.
I'm looking at this birthday party right now, man. I mean, it's beautiful, because these kids had fun, but we actually saw how much fun they have. You know, sometimes you get Ray and them smashing cake in somebody's faces. You showed the fun. So look, I was on a plane and I was looking out the window. I used to carry a lot of camera equipment with me, right? And I was looking out the window and I saw my camera case being slung onto the
you're gonna jump out on the wing and kick his butt.
And I'm like, wow. You know, so what I did, I said I'm going to start carrying smaller cameras, but I wanted the good cameras. So I got a couple of Canon M50s. Okay. What do you think about that camera, and what can I do when I first get ready to start my, let's say, a birthday party? What can I do with that? I mean, how can I get the best utilization for my Canon M50?
Get ready to do a tutorial.
Well, yeah, right. So the one thing I like to do, like even when I teach film and TV, is I like to follow the functions of the camera before I start doing any filming. And it's almost like if you're a professional sports figure, before you go out and try to do the 360 dunks or do these reverse layups, you do the basics, right? You know, maybe you do your 1-2 step back throw, or maybe you shoot the free throw, you do the layups, or just do slap shotting. So I like to go with the basics and understand like well, for one, interchangeable lens versus a camera that doesn't have interchangeable lens, like which you know. So thinking about,
I'm on the air.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. But
make you go, I'm just saying, Marsha, that's a big hairy rat.
Only 26 pounds. That's
only
it.
26 pounds. Man, I mean, you put some butter and some oh wait.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Breed.
But yeah, I like to go over my basics. So understanding what the iris is and recognizing that. So here's something that's really important when filming. Okay. Understanding your FPS. FPS stands for
frames
per second.
Second.
Frames per second.
Yeah.
But knowing like which ones to use, right? And then when you figure, so the basic one, the main ones are 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and 60 frames per second. So you can set your frames per second, but then now you also have to look at what your shutter speed is too. And your shutter speed should be 2 times the amount of your frames. So if you're looking to do a film look, you're shooting 24 frames per second, but make sure your shutter speed is 60 or 48, or 1/48 or 1/60. So, and then so yeah, there you go. And so, but it's about going over game film, all right, before you go out and shoot, and then just capturing. And then once you go over your game film, you really know how to assess the defense, right? You know how to go out and one of the most important things too is talking over with your client before you go out. How many kids are we going to have today? Is there going to be someone in costume? Will parents be there? Do I need to get like a disclosure list to make sure that folks are okay being in front of the camera, right? And so those are some of the details and objectives that you should take even before you film anything too, because going out and filming something that you really enjoy, but not being able to put it up because
somebody objects to being on.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I had to do at Harpo. I was a acquired media logger, and so when she would sit down, and if she were to talk to TD Jakes, or if she were to talk to Deepak or folks, I would be the legal guy to make sure that like there were no coffee mugs that had any names on it or any attire that might represent someone else, because then guess what? Other companies aren't looking at it all free advertisement. They're looking at it like, hey, you're advertising my stuff without permission. So so those are some of the things to look out for too.
Is it okay to when you're getting that what do you call it, the permission to have your likeness on television, is it okay to use your phone and say, hey, can you just say that I have your permission? Is that okay?
So here's the wild part. With your phone, you are almost fully legal to film somebody with your phone. It's just because it's your phone, right? But with the camera, it's completely different. Now, if you have your camera, right, your professional cam, and you've got your shot already set up, but you want to use your phone and say, hey, Marcella, do you give us the right to film you? By all means, you can use your phone to film and capture that moment, and that way you'll be able to have that proof of purchase, so to speak. You can also do that with your regular camera too, before they talk. So one of the things that I do in an interview situation is I go state your first and last name and spell it, and then if I don't have any written consent, then if I don't get clearance with, let's just say, DuSable, I have them say, "Do you give us permission to film you today?"
Right.
And then they say, and I have it recorded so you can hear my voice. And then they will say back, "I give Stories Derek Hines and Stories to Savor full permission to film the content."
Absolutely, absolutely. I needed to know that because I told some people that the other day, and I told them, I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure. You know, you don't have to have it written. You can say it. That's their likeness. They heard your voice. It's there. It's legal. It's law. Lisa, you had a comment.
Yeah, so Greg, I started laughing when he was talking about the film speed and the aperture and all of that stuff. I go, "Oh, I'm having flashback West Side High School days with Mr. Stewart, Eugene Stewart, who taught us all of that stuff, and that's how our camera careers all got started." So I flashbacks to then. But then it also, as he talked about giving the permissions and the things that you would go through now, I was originally going to law school for communications law. I should have stayed in there because this is big money now as the technology has changed and shifted. You used to only have to have the consent of one person on the phone to record a phone call. But now with all this technology advancements, man, it's just gotten difficult.
Yeah.
So thanks for the update on what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And well, it's never too late to go back.
Too late for me, baby.
Scared. That's what it is. You're just
scared.
Oh,
Baby,
no.
I listen, I'm on my way to the NAACP Image Awards. I ain't scared. Okay.
Ain't scared.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go, Derek. Man, again, Gina, not enough time. Not enough time.
It's not, but we got a lot of good information. I'm telling you.
Sure did.
Not enough time. Hey, Derek,
I was
baby,
writing up a storm.
I appreciate
You know,
you.
Lisa.
I had what you gonna say, Mo?
I was saying, Lisa, I had a flashback because I used to be in that daggone room developing all that film. And, Mr. Stevens down at the printing, Foster Stevens.
Film. Ooh, long time ago.
Back there, developing that stuff back there in the room.
Oh,
All
yeah.
y'all.
So
we just tore that room out of there.
Everybody,
really?
The website for Derek Savers, Stories of Savor is running. It's been running all show. If you are a business, it would be in your best interest to look this man up and say, "Hey, I need some help in making my business look good, look attractive to everybody out there." Derek, you're doing a fantastic job, man.
Yeah.
It's needed. We talked about this before. It's needed. You know, I'm not going to say the word that I used before. A lot of people just want to. They put something up there and they put it out. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's crazy too? The couple that a lot of people that do it, like I follow a lot of folks on YouTube and they use their phone too, but some of it wouldn't look like what I would do, but it's still making some smashing amount of views and people are getting monetized and stuff. So it's like there's like a split road, like maybe like 2, 3, 4, 5 different roads on how you can shoot, and then like what your audience wants. You know, if you're shooting and you're doing the camera and you're waving it all around, maybe now there's an audience that goes, "Oh man, they're shooting like I do, and they're making a million views every time they actually do the video." And then there's that market, and there's the audience that say, "Wow, you know, he's got a static shot. His image looks great, and I love his story being told from A to Z." And then you have the students that are just starting that may not know that there's an avenue for that. So it's not like how it used to be where things were affordable, like $25,000 for Avid just for the system, or $5,000 to go into the booth.
I remember that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's more at your hand, so to speak.
Yeah, just make yourselves look better out there, all right? Derek, if there's anything that you could tell somebody who's trying to do what you're doing, something that would get them to a different level, what would it be?
So I think back to the Colonel, KFC, and I think about how he got started at age, I want to say 61, and as a small business owner or just as a human being, we tend to worry about where we are right now. And I'm encouraged to let you all know that when you're planting, you start off with looking for the right spot, the right soil to put your seed. And then once you go down and to start digging, you might get your hands cut, you might get your nails chipped. But the important part is that's the preview so that you know specifically if this is the right place to plant your seed. And then after you do that, the process of putting that soil back over your seed and then growing it. It's like a bamboo plant. It takes 5 years to grow the bamboo plant. But on the fifth day, it grows 90 feet tall. Yeah. So like, does the bamboo plant grow in 5 days or 5 years? So it's the process. And if you understand what your purpose is, if you know your purpose, then the journey before you get there is important. And that's what I'm encouraging, right? Everybody who's starting their business or everyone who's in a anyone who's in a relationship or whatever you do, is that there's a process, because not many people were born with a silver spoon or a copper spoon in their mouth. So it's about understanding that the journey may be hard and there may be adverse situations, but understand that today's a good day and tomorrow will be a better day.
There you go. There you go. We have had a great time with you, bro. Most definitely.
Yes.
Anything we can do to anything you got that's going on, man. You want to throw it our way? We're here. Okay. We're gonna have you to come back though. Explain a little bit more.
Love it. And hey, listen, if you all need some video content created, I wanted to ask, where's everybody from? I know Mo B's in the South, and like, shoot, I mean, everyone's from different areas. But if anyone needs some video content or social media marketing and web design, that's what we do. And what I like to do is, if you ever recommend someone, I do actually give a percentage back to whoever recommends someone to me. So if,
I recommend Greg.
You recommend Greg? Okay.
I recommend Gina.
So, and if they take on the product, then you get 10. You get a percentage of whatever it is. So I like doing that for people too.
I love that, giving back. That's
Where are you located?
So so right now we're based out of Illinois, in Addison, Illinois,
you're right here.
Park and in Addison.
Here.
Yeah. So not too far from the city, but we do travel anywhere that's needed. Yeah.
Elaine Kim Cox says she needs help.
Okay.
So Elaine Kim Cox, his name is Derek Hines. There's his website at the bottom, and on there it has contact information. Go onto the site, contact him, get something done, bring it to Dope Living TV so we can check it out. All right. We already know what it's going to look like, but we want to know what your feeling is with that. All right. Holla at him for real. Yeah. Derek, we appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely. I just want to add one thing too. Say it again.
You can add 3 things if you like.
Oh, I appreciate you. I just want to say, even with even based off of folks that may want content, but they're not able to afford the content. We do consultations too, and strategizing, which would definitely be a lot less than maybe what it is to actually create it. So everything for your business, we're able to help out at whatever budget you have within reason. So
full service. www.storiestosavor.com is the website. You all go and check him out. All right. You don't even have to tell him that we sent you. All right. Just go there and get your work done so that your product can look great.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Derek.
Yes. Thank you for all the info.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. Hey, listen, I'm stuttering like Ruben right now.
No,
I'm appreciative of being able to be
like Ruben.
No, Derek, I've been trying to get it to since the end of the year last year. You've been so busy, man, but we appreciate you taking this time out.
Absolutely.
Every time I think about Ruben stuff, I think about Jamie Foxx.
So just let me know.
Get him over baby brother's number. Get him over the baby brother.
Oh, Derek, we're going to talk. We're definitely going to talk real soon. I got his number. I'm going to shoot you my number. We're going to talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, this is Dope Living TV Live, man. You guys have a great weekend. We will see you guys Monday, all right?
All right.
Adios.
Take care.